All right, everybody, welcome once again to another edition of Christian Pornstar, which was spawned from the web show that I put together quite some time ago, Monica at Home. My name is Alexandra, but I'm better known most likely from my old porn movies, but hopefully in the future I'll be known for some things that are far better than that. But I'm probably best known from my official website, www.monicaf.com. Of course, the website for this broadcast, www.monicaathome.com. And the website specifically for this edition of Monica at Home, Christian Pornstar. Now, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to visit me and spend some time with me today as I discuss some pretty controversial topics, because I'm a controversial kind of woman. But for those of you who are watching Christian Pornstar for the first time, Christian Pornstar is not an organization, it's not a nonprofit, it's nothing like that. It's just a video blog that I like to do for free here on Blog TV, and also I like to put these videos up on YouTube as well. But I started Christian Pornstar a few months ago because when I was an active porn industry talent, from 2008 to around 2009, I actually worked in adult entertainment far prior to then. I actually started in the adult industry as an exotic dancer back in 2002. But especially when I left the Los Angeles porn industry, I had a very hard time, emotionally, spiritually, and just when it came to my personal safety, because I was stalked, I was harassed, I was essentially chased because I chose to speak up and tell the truth about what happens when you enter the porn industry and adult entertainment in general. I went through quite the mental cycle as far as what I really thought about the world of adult entertainment, and I'm still cycling a bit as far as what I truly feel about the world of adult entertainment. I think that there is a feasible way for adult entertainment to exist, but there has to be a major overhaul. And I think that what we're seeing, especially in the news right now, in the media, on different adult industry and mainstream blogs and whatnot, is really showing the world exactly what has happened to what should be a legitimate industry. Unfortunately, what should be a legitimate industry, the porn industry, it is not legitimate. It is completely run by criminals. I'd say 90% of the industry is run by criminals, mafia-type people. It's horrible. It's horrible, the things that anyone who goes into that industry goes through. I do not recommend anybody go into the Los Angeles porn industry specifically at this point in time. Later, will I feel different? I don't know. I would be surprised if I ever did. But if you took the time to read through my various blogs and websites and watch my various video blogs of Monica at Home, Christian Pornstar, and whatnot that I've done over the years, I don't really know what's possessed me to do them. Sometimes I look back at many of them and I feel relatively embarrassed. But it's a record. It's a record of someone who I'd say is relatively sane, who took a chance, who took a risk of going into something, fairly educated about it, at least as educated as one could be considering the lack of material that's out there about the adult entertainment industry. But it shows, I feel like my materials really show exactly what can happen to pretty much the average woman who goes into the porn industry, and it's not pretty. It's not glamorous. It's not any of that. There's a lot of things about both the pro-porn and the anti-porn populaces, in my view, that are very just askew and not right. Some people would deem me as anti-porn. Other people would probably deem me as pro-porn, being that I'm still an adult webcam model. Yeah, but I chose to leave on my own terms, meaning the Los Angeles porn industry. I decided to do what I felt I should do to continue my life for the better and go through the transition from the adult world into the mainstream world. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever be really truly in the mainstream world, but I am making a solid effort at it. You know, some would probably beg to differ with me and say, well, if you really wanted to leave the porn industry, you would just stop webcamming and everything altogether. Well, you know what? That's one person's opinion. Someone else might say, well, if anything, it seems like you're trying to be more in the porn industry and just a pariah to the porn industry with this Christian Pornstar business. That's just blasphemous. But again, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Again, I beg to differ on that. For me, Christian Pornstar is just a way for me to let other adult entertainers out there realize that you can be in adult entertainment, even if it's just webcamming, or, you know, if you're a stripper, or, you know, whatever it is that you do. Maybe you're just a softcore model, who knows. But you can be in adult entertainment and still have a strong relationship with God and our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I recently had to cut off a very good friendship of mine. I'm pretty saddened by it, but sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. But someone who has been a very good friend of mine for years, I've decided that we both have to go our separate ways because she does not agree with Christian Pornstar. She feels that what I'm saying is just a complete hypocrisy. She feels that it is blasphemous. She feels that I'm making a joke of Jesus and God. Well, I do have to say that I think that both Jesus and God do have quite the sense of humor. But this show is not a joke, and it never has been. Yeah, I laugh about certain things because there's a lot of things that I discuss that are so tragic that they are actually funny. And there's some things that are just downright funny because they're so ridiculous. But is this show meant for me to make a mockery of Christianity? Absolutely not. It's not. And for this particular friend of mine actually to unjustifiably judge me and say certain statements that she did in regards to this show, Christian Pornstar, I was just very disappointed in her. And I do feel that if she does continue on her personal mission to save the world, then she might have to open some closet doors and take a good long look in the mirror because, you know, as you'll see from some things that we will discuss today, when you're in the public eye, whether it be very minutely or in a major capacity, whether you have secrets or not, you got to have answers for them. Because they will come out, and you can't only tell half the truth and not the entire truth. Because when you're in the public eye, people will look. Do they have the right to look or not? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know everything. But the point is, especially the way that the media is today, people will really look at you. So I hope that she does take the time to tell the whole truth about some rather controversial things in her recent past. So that's all I'll say about that. So anyway, let's take a break. I want to welcome everyone to the show. I'm just going to go to the chat room a little bit. And after I address some things in the chat room, we will catch up on the porn news of the week. And if you want to follow along, please visit www.pornnewstoday.com. All right, well, we'll start with something that's kind of lighthearted yet weird. This is a story from, let's see, when did I post this? Scroll up, because I do a lot of stories in one day. Well, this is from last week at some point. But here's the headline. Former Playboy playmate Stephanie Adams sues New York Police Department for alleged mishandling. She was accused of being a vampire. I thought this was kind of funny, actually, but it's weird. It's weird. This is a really pretty black girl who was a Playboy playmate, and she was accused of being a vampire by a taxi driver. So I have a feeling there's going to be like a follow-up on this, but I'm wondering, like, why a vampire? She does look a little reminiscent of the late and great Aaliyah from Queen of the Damned, that's for sure, but I don't know. Stephanie Adams, 40, in the November 1992 Playmate, alleges police drew their guns on her with unnecessary force, shoved her face into the pavement, causing physical injury after her taxi driver accused her as being armed and dangerous. According to the New York Post, the driver, Eric Darko, later told city investigators that he believed Miss Adams was a vampire. Once known as the first openly lesbian Playboy Playmate, and now a married-to-a-man mom, Adams was taking the taxi driven by Mr. Darko on May 25th back to her apartment when he refused to bring her any closer to her building, according to Miss Adams. He then began cursing at her, prompting her to call emergency services, which Mr. Darko did also. While on the phone with the NYPD, Mr. Darko told the operator that Miss Adams had threatened to shoot him, leading to her rough handling at their arrival. So this is strange. This is a really, strange thing. I think the vampire element is very strange, actually. But it sounds to me like she might have lived in a building maybe with a heavy traffic area. And even if you're in a heavy traffic area, if you're a taxi driver and the person asks you to take them up to their door, especially if it's in the evening or whatever time of day it is, he should have done that, and they got into an argument. But I'm wondering why the police were so rough with her. I think it's a good thing, actually, that she's suing the New York Police Department in regards to this, because it's good that she's speaking up for herself. But it seems like this past week, a lot of Playboy Playmates have been under attack. Let's go ahead and skip ahead, actually, in the week's news. And speaking of Playboy, Hugh Hefner's son was arrested for attacking the Playmate of the Year, Claire Sinclaire. This is very interesting in regards to what happened. Let me go ahead and just read a bit of this. Hugh Hefner's oldest son, Marsten Hefner, was arrested last night after he allegedly attacked his Playmate of the Year girlfriend, Claire Sinclaire. Law enforcement sources tell TMZ cops were called to the pad Marsten shares with Sinclaire in Pasadena, California, after one of Sinclair's family members called 911, claiming Marsten had attacked her. Cops arrived to the scene and were told officers observed visible injuries on Sinclair's body, including bruises and red marks. This is pretty, this shocked me. This really shocked me because, Playboy, in my view, is one of the gateways from the glamour modeling, softcore world of adults into hardcore. What a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of porn is labeled via the Playboy brand. Actually, when I was working as an active porn talent, there was a shoot which I actually never wound up going through with, but I was told that I'd be shooting content for the Playboy magazine, but I wasn't at any Playboy studio doing this, but I guess they were going to license the content to the Playboy brand. But yeah, Playboy, the media likes to present Playboy as just being, a magazine with very soft and beautiful nude photos, but Playboy is essentially a hardcore company now, especially being that it's been recently acquired by Manwin, which is the adult industry hardcore giant. Manwin owns companies such as Brazzers. Brazzers shoots quite a bit of gonzo. Who else have they acquired? Digital Playground, that's a hardcore company. I think they acquired Digital Playground, but this Claire Sinclaire, I think I'm very proud of her, and actually my prayers go out to her for speaking up and not remaining silent in regards to Hugh Hefner's son being physically violent with her, because that's not acceptable. It is not acceptable for men to be physically violent with women or psychologically violent with women, and unfortunately there's an epidemic of that within the adult entertainment industry, and it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. I can, now there's been several updates in regards to Claire Sinclaire's situation. It seems that she's moving forward with legal action. In fact, let me skip ahead in the blog and read to you what's going on now with her, because she is pursuing legal action. At first, it appeared that she was just seeking an apology, but I think it's going to end up being more than that, because she has made it known that Playboy has not reached out to her at all with any support, which again is surprising to me, because Hugh Hefner often goes on and on about how much he loves women and, you know, how all women should be treated appropriately. But what his son did, that, you know, if those allegations are truthful, which I believe they probably are, considering the sincerity in her testimony on different interviews, I think it's, you know, there's something definitely very, very wrong here that's going on, and it makes me wonder about a lot of historic events that are linked to Playboy. There was one girl, I can't think, let me think, what was her name right now? What was her name? But she was killed extremely violently after she was a Playmate of the Year. I'll think of her name later, if anyone can think of it. She was a Canadian girl. But in a Hugh Hefner documentary that I was watching just the other day, he was going on and on about Dorothy Stratton. That was her name, Dorothy Stratton. Dorothy Stratton was killed in one of the worst possible ways, the way that they found her body. Hugh Hefner said that it had nothing to do with Playboy or any affiliations that she ever had through Playboy. But considering this whole Marsten Hefner thing, I'm not so sure I believe Hugh Hefner anymore. I'm really not sure. But yeah, let me read you guys the update as far as what's going on with her. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Again, this is on pornnewstoday.com. Claire Sinclaire quits Playboy. And let me read to y'all my commentary. I'm glad Claire decided to cut her ties to the entity of which is harboring her alleged abuser. Leaving a company, industry, or organization of which you had a passion for, but unfortunately has psychotic members of whom thought could get away with abusing you due to others remaining silent in the past, is one of the most difficult things to go through. I've gone through that. However, it's the best thing to do in regards to one's safety and sanity in such a situation. And let me just read a little bit of this. Claire Sinclaire, who was allegedly kicked and beaten by Hugh Hefner's son Marsten, is disassociating herself from Playboy. A website has reported that sources close to the 20-year-old said that the model has canceled all future Playboy-related appearances, events, and photo shoots pending the outcome of her domestic violence case with Marsten. Claire has hired attorney Keith Davidson, who said, "We are taking this matter extremely seriously, and we are completing a thorough investigation into the situation." Marsten, 21 years old, was arrested Sunday after allegedly kicking and punching Sinclaire during an argument in their Pasadena, Los Angeles, California apartment. Sinclaire said she wouldn't press charges against him if he gave a public apology and got psychiatric help. Looks to me like she's going to go ahead and press charges anyway, and I think she should, because no woman deserves to be abused, regardless of how big or powerful or how much money an entity appears to have. If you get abused, whether it be psychological or physical, fight back. Men and women out there, always fight back. God and Jesus will be with you, and sometimes, even when things seem dark and hopeless, there is a ray of light that shines on through, and sometimes you think an outcome is going to go one way, but it goes a completely different way, and I think I'm living proof of that. You know, a lot of people think I'm overly dramatic when I say this, but I think it is a miracle that I'm here right now, considering everything that I went through in 2010 and 2011. So let's take another break and go into the chat room. All right, before we go into some more news stories, let me go ahead and let you guys know, if you want to learn more about me, you can always visit my official website, monicaf.com. You can also visit monicahome.com, where I have all my archives and whatnot to my various broadcasts over the years. Gettingintoporn.com. I have another book series coming out very shortly. Very, very shortly, which will be Getting Into Porn, The Journeys, which will it's a 13-book series, and it chronicles from day one in the Los Angeles porn industry to the present. But if you want to know the technicalities of the porn industry, you can always go to that website, gettingintoporn.com. ChristianPornstar.com, of course. Controversial site. Will there ever be Christian porn? There might be. You got Christian music, and people once said that rock and roll was the devil's music, and look at where we're at today. I actually at one point met a I won't say very, but relatively successful Christian rock musician named Michael Hefner. Really good guy, and I don't think that anyone could ever tell him that there shouldn't be Christian rock and roll. So, I don't know if there's ever going to be Christian porn out there, but if there ever was, guess what? I made 21 commandments. You can read them however you like. But that's what Christian Pornstar is. But Christian Pornstar is mainly a discussion. It's a discussion. But I have a few other projects in the works that I'll be launching this year, so everyone stay tuned for that. And, a lot of things don't make sense. When people were saying rock and roll was devil's music, they didn't think that Christian rock would ever make sense, I'm sure. Yet it exists. Yeah. Funny how life goes sometimes. Funny how life goes. Oh, well, I wanted to talk about how I watched something. This doesn't have anything to do with the adult entertainment industry, but it is a relatively controversial topic that does have to do with Christianity. There is a group out there. They've been around since, I believe, I should know this because I just saw their screener. They've been around for a few decades, called Jews for Jesus. Yes, Jews for Jesus. They made quite a nice introductory movie for their movement that I had the privilege of being invited to watch, which I viewed the other day. And it really made me think. It really made me think. I think it's excellent that there are people out there, aside from myself, who are brave enough to be like, yeah, okay, this is controversial, I'm Jewish, yet I have a strong belief in Jesus Christ. Take some bravery to do that, because I'm sure that there's quite a few traditional Jewish people who probably completely disassociate themselves from the Jews for Jesus. But I liked what the Jews for Jesus had to say. I hope at some point they spread their movement from New York to Los Angeles, because I think everybody needs to hear a lot of different perspectives on Jesus Christ. I know that, especially over really since the beginning of 2011, whether I liked it or not, Jesus Christ made a big comeback in my life. I mean, I feel like I was trying to push him away, but it's like everywhere I turned, it's like, ooh, there's Jesus, ooh, there's Jesus again. So he ran me down. And I think Jesus is getting ready to run a lot of people down this year. I have a strong, strong belief in that. So everyone check out their website, jewsforjesus.org. Check it out. I'm sure they'll make their screener available to the public soon. And when they do, I hope everybody takes some time to watch it. It really makes you think. Oh, someone thinks that Jesus was an extraterrestrial. Maybe. But who's to say that an extraterrestrial couldn't be the Son of God? Who's to say that God only made, us people here on Earth? Other planets could be populated. That doesn't mean that God didn't create them. I mean, Jesus was the personification of God on Earth, because we as humans, we could never conceive, or I don't think our minds could handle exactly what God really is. We're not designed to do that. But Jesus was someone who helped us have a stronger tie to God. I don't know why people have a problem with accepting that. People can believe whatever they want, but I think it's a pretty easy thing to understand.